Alright everybody, we've got you a big update tonight. So last night we reported on potential tropical cyclone Francine. We are now expecting Francine to officially, by the National Hurricane Center, make landfall as a high-end Category 1 hurricane in southwestern Louisiana near the Lake Charles region. In this stream, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about this system and answering every question that you might have about it. So right now, it's technically not even a tropical storm yet. However, it does have tropical storm force winds sustained at about 50 miles per hour, and we are expecting this to officially be a tropical storm by later tonight. That is when it will be named Francine. We do have already tropical storm warnings in effect, or excuse me, tropical storm watches in effect for portions of northeastern Mexico, and soon likely portions of southeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana, as this system pushes northeastward and eventually, again, potentially makes landfall as a high-end Category 1 hurricane. Anywhere in this red zone is where the National Hurricane Center thinks is a possibility, and it's honestly pretty on point with the circle that I was drawing last night. Anywhere between New Orleans and Houston, we cannot rule out a landfall from, again, what is likely to become Hurricane Francine. Now, this is going to be absolutely perfect because we do have a traffic cam right in the cone of uncertainty, so we're going to be able to watch everything that goes on here just with the Radar Omega app alone, and then obviously storm chasers and everything will be out there too. But again, the likely time for landfall right now that we're thinking is going to be on, yes, 9/11, in the afternoon towards the evening time hours. Now, take that all with a grain of salt. This is a few days out. Details are going to change. But right now, we are expecting the landfall of, again, what will likely soon become Hurricane Francine to be on Wednesday here. Again, Wednesday evening, likely, somewhere in between Houston and New Orleans. Now, if this happens, that would not be good. This area has seen significant flooding recently already due to tropical moisture in the Gulf, and this would only make things worse, obviously. The rainfall forecast right now from the National Hurricane Center does not go out far enough for this landfall forecast here, right? It only goes out a certain number of days, or excuse me, I guess it does actually go out far enough here. This is the day 1 to 5 rainfall forecast, so this doesn't go quite as far as we'd like it to, but you can kind of get a general idea here of the rain that we are expecting from this system. We can see that there are going to be some isolated splotches here in the Gulf of Mexico here that get somewhere between 12 and 16 inches of rain. The highest areas, the highest amount of rain totals on land are likely going to be areas in northeastern Mexico, little small sliver there south of Brownsville, Texas, 8 to 12 inches of rain, and then a couple of those kind of go up towards the Louisiana coastline as well. But again, if you're hugging the coast of southwestern Louisiana here, anywhere Lake Charles southward back points to the east, you can expect a significant 6 to 8 inches of rain. And again, details are likely going to change with this, likely for the worse. And we're going to explain why that is later on in this forecast and everything. But if we go ahead and take a look here at the wind speed probabilities, all right, they're not giving a lot of confidence right now because, again, we're still a little uncertain on this system. But the fact that they're already saying a 30 to 40% chance of tropical storm force winds for areas hugging the Texas and Louisiana coasts, that's not good. That is not good at all. Considering we don't even have a tropical storm yet and they're already giving that much confidence, that is a bad sign for what's to come, alright? Again, I do think that we definitely could see hurricane force winds impact southwestern Louisiana. In fact, I think it's a likelihood at this point, alright? And again, we're going to talk about why that is later on, but let me go ahead and pull up the stream chat. How is everybody doing on this fine Sunday night here? What's up, Random Texan Guy, Indiana, Mr. Storm Tornado Nerd, Gooseman? We got the whole club in here today. Yes, it did develop into a potential tropical cyclone. It's not a tropical storm yet, if that's what you're asking. But again, it does have tropical storm force winds at this point. Yeah, so Houston is one of the areas that we'd be watching. I don't think that we're going to see a landfall in Houston, but you are technically in the cone of uncertainty, so make sure to look out for that. What I will say is that right now, the National Hurricane Center does have Houston getting a significant amount of rain from this. Not a significant amount of rain, but I will say a decent amount of rain, alright? We're talking about maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain in the Houston area there in that dark green section. So that would definitely be something to look out for. That could cause some minor flooding. And then, again, gusty winds are also a possibility. If we go back to our little wind speed probabilities map, we can see that Houston's kind of shaded in like the 10 to 20% chance of tropical storm force or greater winds. So you'll likely see Again, some tropical depression force winds and maybe even some isolated gusts up to tropical storm force, but it likely won't be anything too crazy. Do I think it could get to a Category 2 or 3 hurricane? I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's a likelihood. It's upside. I think it's a possibility, though. Specifically the GFS model. I want to show you guys. We're going to look at all the models, but I want to show you guys the GFS first. Excuse me. Give me just a second. Let me grab a tissue really quickly. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, everybody. But yes, I do think that we could see a Category 2 or 3 hurricane out of this. If we look at the GFS run of current, we can see that we're expecting a 967 millibar landfall here in southwestern and south central Louisiana. That would be like a category, probably a low-end Category 3 hurricane, a high-end Category 2 hurricane. That is significant. That's strong. Actually, it's going to be a little bit higher, a little bit stronger than that, right? We're talking about 964 millibar landfall. Maybe a little bit lower than that even. And we can see this remains as a 1,000 millibar pressure system here, low pressure system rather, all the way up into like the Memphis, Tennessee area, which would be significant. That would still be like a tropical storm at that point. So definitely some interesting stuff there shown by the GFS. My day's going great, Jesse. Thank you for asking. But another one of the models that I do want to have you guys take a quick glance at here. The European model, being very aggressive with this system as well. It's not just the GFS going crazy like it does sometimes. The European's a little bit less aggressive than the GFS is, but if we bring it up on your screen here, we can see it's still being pretty intense here. We are talking about the potential for a landfall of about a 972 millibar low pressure system, I would guess, in like south central Louisiana there. So there's a good confidence that it's going to be somewhere between 960 to 975 millibars in the southwestern Louisiana corridor here, according to all the models, except for the Canadian. The Canadian's being kind of dumb on this one, alright? It's saying that this is only going to get down to like a 993. We're guaranteed to get at least to a 993. We're almost there already, in fact. So if we only get to a 993, that'd be kind of wild. It also has this landfall a little bit further west, which is why it doesn't strengthen quite as much. It doesn't have quite as much time to develop. But again, I don't think that's an accurate outlook there. Yeah, so Lake Charles, not going to be too far away from our landfall area, likely. Again, probably going to see some significant flooding rains in Lake Charles and damaging winds as well. Yeah, the tornado threat definitely could be interesting. All the recent hurricanes that we've had make landfall in the U.S. have brought significant tornado outbreaks. Debbie brought huge tornadoes to North Carolina. Beryl brought huge tornadoes to Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, all the way back through, Missouri, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. I mean, it brought tornadoes everywhere it went, significant tornadoes. So hopefully we don't see anything like that, and I'm not expecting us to. I do also think that the track for Francine here, what we're calling potential Tropical Cyclone 6 as of right now, is going to be a little bit further west than Beryl's. Even though the landfall is going to be a little bit further to the east than Beryl's, the actual track inland is going to be a little bit further to the west. It's going to be more of a due north track rather than a northeastward track. But yeah, Port Arthur and Cameron, Louisiana are going to get hit pretty hard. Again, we're talking about Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Natchitoches, Alexandria. But yeah, those areas hugging the coast there. Port Arthur, Cameron. Not a good sign. Again, we're expecting a landfall, according to the National Hurricane Center, right along the Texas-Louisiana state line. Evacuation orders are not in effect yet, but I want you guys to know that you should be preparing now. You should be packing a bag and getting ready for those if you're hugging the coast here, because they are likely going to be issued. You don't need to leave yet, but you need to be prepared to leave for sure at this point. Yeah, there was also an EF3 with Debbie. Again, that one in North Carolina. Debbie even brought a PDS tornado to Delaware. I mean, that just doesn't happen. But, again, we are expecting this to go kind of due north, again, after it makes its first landfall here. And only landfall, hopefully, and likely. I don't know why I said first landfall. So, here's something interesting. And I want you guys to pay attention to this. I think this is good data. I think it's interesting data. Yeah, bring this up on your screen here, if you would like to load. There we go. This is the intensity guidance. As you can see, we are all over the place, as per usual. We are 72 hours out from this thing, not even, like 60 hours out from this thing being at its peak strength, and we still don't even have it. We don't know if it's going to be a tropical storm, a Cat 1, a Cat 2. They're all over the place here, but what you can see is a cluster of these models here pushing this to the low to mid-range Category 1 hurricane strength region. It's also what the National Hurricane Center is saying it will be at landfall and at its strongest point. That's interesting, alright? We do have one, not really an outlier, but we do have one model pushing it all the way to a mid-range Cat 2, and I think that's a possibility. I do. We're going to have to see how things shape out, but I think for right now, mid-range Cat 1 is the best guess. By 100 hours out, this thing's not even going to be a tropical storm at that point. So this thing is going to weaken pretty quickly as it gets to land here. The National Hurricane Center is saying that it will be around a tropical depression in the Memphis area. Again, it looked on the GFS like it would have been more of a tropical storm, but again, the GFS is usually a little bit more aggressive than what actually happens. So, but if you're just not tuning in, we are answering all the questions you have about potential Tropical Cyclone 6, soon to be Hurricane Francine, most likely, as we are expecting a significant landfall somewhere on the Texas or Louisiana coasts. One more day until you can change your name back. But, again, as early as tonight, we could be talking about a tropical storm out of this, alright? So, again, I'm not going to do, like, a 1 a.m. stream tonight, because I have school in the morning. But, pretty interesting. Your internet's been garbage for you all day? That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, here's something we can talk about. We've been in a little bit of a severe weather lull. Tomorrow, though, we'll likely have a stream out. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather for parts of western and central New York, kind of out of nowhere, honestly. But if we look at the models, the HRRR and NAM, the NAM in particular is quite interesting, though. If we take a look at the NAM for this event, we do see that the potential for damaging winds and large hail are going to be there, especially damaging winds. I do wish that they would push this marginal risk. I guess maybe not. Originally I said they needed to push this a little bit further south, but now it seems adequate with the newest run here of the NAM. But it looks like areas like Rochester are going to get hit pretty hard by some storms late tomorrow evening, so... I'm not sick, but I do have a cold, so I've had it for so long. It seems like I've given it to my dad, too, so that's great. But no, I'm fine. So the track guidance here. Alright, let's take a look at the GFS ensembles. Crap, I almost put that displayed on my TV on accident. Okay, bring this up on your screen here in a second. We can see that a lot of them, not just a lot of them, but all of them, again, are saying a landfall in Louisiana. We do have a few that are saying extreme southeastern Texas, but for the most part, the general thinking process here is, again, western and central Louisiana. Then it pushes northward. We see some of these models start to curve off a little bit, but there's still quite a bit of confidence that this is going to go north, and then eventually push a little bit off to the northeast here and make its way up towards the Great Lakes region as a post-tropical cyclone. So anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sam. Again, the further east that Francine goes, the more time it's going to have to strengthen. How is Beaumont going to deal with the hurricane? See, that's a good question, because Beaumont, again, is right in the area there where we are thinking a landfall is possible. I really doubt we're going to see any sort of Cat 4. I think even in a worst-case scenario, that's a bit of a stretch. I don't think we're going to see a Cat 4. What's up, Farm Video Animation? Good afternoon. Where are you that it's afternoon for you? It is 8:30 for me right now. But no, if we take a look at the info here from the National Hurricane Center for the Beaumont, Texas region, let's go ahead and bring that up on your screen here. So, let's see. So Beaumont kind of right in between the 2 to 4 and 4 to 6 inches of rain region, so likely around 4 inches of rain there for Beaumont, Texas. We can't, unfortunately, talk too specifically about storm surge yet, since we're so far away from this landfall. But, when is this going to make landfall? Again, we're talking about likely a Wednesday landfall. Again, Wednesday's obviously going to be a historic day. It's 9/11. So, it's going to be interesting how people adjust their plans here, especially if people have to, evacuate. If they were going to, go spend time with loved ones or pay respects or whatever. But, just say low-end Cat 1. I would say, high-end Cat 1 to low-end Cat 2 right now is my prediction, and I'm being pretty bold with that. But I do think it's a very real possibility. Again, the further east this goes, it's a good possibility. And again, National Hurricane Center is saying it'll be a lot further west than some of our models are, and some of our members from Tropical Tidbits are. So, we'll see. I'm going to grab another tissue real quick. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll be right back. So we're back. Yeah, so far the hurricane season's been average. I do think things are going to pick up very soon, though. Again, we were forecasting a wildly above average hurricane season, a historic hurricane season. That doesn't happen, but it could change. But it doesn't look like it's going to be anything as crazy as we thought, luckily. We were saying a 2005, a 2020 type season. It's not going to be anything like that at this point. It would have had to gotten active much earlier, months earlier. This still could end up being a slightly above average season if things really take a turn for the worse, but yeah. We don't really know what the tornado threat will be like with this, but it's just safe to say that, again, a few tornadoes are possible anywhere in the cone of uncertainty, or even outside of the cone of uncertainty. And the problem further inland usually does end up being the tornadoes with this system, because this thing is going to keep producing tornadoes likely, and tornado warnings at least, all the way into the Midwest. That's exactly what Beryl did. Beryl did it towards the Northeast even, and Francine definitely could do it too. By the way, I just now noticed this. So, the hurricane alphabet, A did not make a hurricane U.S. landfall. B did make a hurricane U.S. landfall. C did not make a hurricane U.S. landfall. D did make a hurricane U.S. landfall. E did not make a U.S. hurricane landfall. F is likely going to make a U.S. hurricane landfall. G, probably not now. And then they don't have a G name, do they? It would be straight to Helen. I don't think they have a G this year. They don't have it. Oh, they do. Gordon. Why did I think they didn't have one? I don't know. But G is out. H, maybe. Is that a trend that we're starting to see? Every other system? What's the risk for Wednesday? Not much. If you're talking about, severe weather-wise. But again, that is the day we're expecting the hurricane to make landfall. Or the potential hurricane, I should say. Because it's not confirmed at this point. But again, it is a likelihood, so... The models on September 19th are looking worrying. Oh, yeah. Is that the day where we have, that massive hurricane out in the Atlantic? Let's see. Yep. But no, this year, it's weird. Normally, 2023, 2022, 2021, they all had, one big, major hurricane landfall in the United States, a historic landfall. This year, we're just getting a bunch of, little Cat 1s. Which I can't decide if that's better or worse, because on one hand, we're seeing a lot more, widespread damage, but on the other hand, it's not quite as significant. we'll say the tornadoes have been by far worse with the hurricanes this year than the previous years. But, yeah. Again, I think worst case scenario, we see a Cat 3 out of this, in my opinion, if it really does push further to the east. And that would be another bad thing with that would be it is heading for a more populated area if that happens. But again, that's not a likelihood. That's just a possibility. So take that all with a grain of salt, obviously. But yeah, those disturbances out in the Atlantic do have a small chance at heading towards the United States. However, hurricanes do favor latitude, so it's likely that we're probably going to see those miss the United States unless there's really a driving factor to send it further to the south. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, if it does make landfall in Texas instead, that would be more like a high in tropical storm or low in Cat 1, but again, that's not quite as likely at this point as we were thinking yesterday. And even yesterday, it wasn't super likely, so. Anyway. Folks, I'm going to get in on some of this action at home, I think. I am in the cone of uncertainty. Obviously, I'm not about to dox myself, but I'm in the cone of uncertainty. So, yes, big stuff to watch in the tropics. Again, what we were just talking about there. Right now on the National Hurricane Center website, we have another code red. Let's go and bring this up. And then we also have an orange. So the red, disturbance out in the Atlantic, 70% chance to develop in the next 7 days. The orange one is 50%. Neither of them, though, again, are heading for the United States at this time. It doesn't look like, but that could change. So keep you all posted with all those details and information and stuff like that. They're not. There's no way. Greenfield was not. I mean, it was close to EF5 damage, but there's no way. You've accidentally doxed yourself on stream 4 times? The heck? We have some strong storms impacting Florida right now. Wow, look at this. We've got a likely water spout here. Just off the west coast of Florida. Just about. Likely some water spouts here off the west coast of Florida, so look out for that, west of Tampa. Imagine nobody's out on the waters at this hour, but that's 50 miles off the coast anyway, or like 20 or 30 anyway. What do you think the disturbance in the Pacific's going to end up doing? I don't think it's going to do much, in my opinion. And if it does do something, it's going to take a while. I know the GFS has been going wild and saying that it's going to become a major and make landfall in, like, Baja, California, but they've done that with several Pacific systems so far. Like, we were expecting, like, a hurricane into, like, the 920s in terms of pressure. And I don't even think it turned into a hurricane. I think that was Gilma. Or Gilma was a hurricane, but it wasn't as bad as it was expected to be, so that's my point. Was it before Gilma? I don't know, honestly. I don't know if I'd call it future Gordon yet, because there's not quite enough confidence. I'd say it's potentially future Gordon, though, for sure. Yeah, nice little couplet of rotation. Again, really, any rotation at all ends up producing water spouts, so. But again, Louisiana, you need to be preparing for this right now, no matter where you are in the state. Same goes for East Texas. West Mississippi. Definitely going to see a potential for a landfall in that general vicinity. If you feel it, you chase it. Gordon Ramsay will be cooking some... Bro, what? Gordon Ramsay cooking hurricanes goes wild. You guys want my idea of landfall probabilities? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say this is the high alert area. They're in the red. That's where I think the most likely chance for a landfall is. Then what? No, you know what? Then we're gonna do an orange outside of that. This is where a landfall is possible, but not most likely. And then the yellow is just gonna be where it's possible, but only if things take a significant turn. And we'll have a green. Let's have a green to be like, you're definitely not going to get a direct landfall, but if it does make landfall near you, then you could get some impacts. And again, near you, meaning like the yellow or the orange zones. For real. I know this is expected to be such an insane hurricane. It's not just Twitter. Normally this is a Twitter issue. WX Twitter goes crazy sometimes, but... I mean, it's not a bad thing that we're seeing less hurricanes. It's just less interesting, you know? Like, I want to see, like, a major... Like, a Cat 5 just slab a bunch of fish. I don't want to see that make landfall, but I want to see it out in the Atlantic. I want to see the strongest hurricane ever. Like, every stream, you have a quote that I say that you could take out of context. I want to see this slab a bunch of fish. Strongest hurricane to hit Hawaii was a Cat 5 in August 2018. I believe I remember that. I don't remember the name, though. So, anyway. Again, if you have any questions about your location, feel free to leave those down below. Giving you flashbacks of Nicholas. This is giving me flashbacks of Beryl, other than the Cat 5 part. And the developing in the MDR part, because this developed in the Gulf. I'm going to get another tissue. I'll be right back. I'm not dying, I promise. We back, chat. Alright, see you, Gooseman. Thank you for tuning in. You tracked Harvey. This is gonna be nothing like Harvey. Similar area, but nothing in common with Harvey other than that. It's still a little bit further east of Harvey. Anyway. Where Harvey made landfall. Look at this, we still got snow from last winter on the Mount Shasta, California cam. That's crazy. It has not snowed in this area yet. This is legitimately from last winter. I don't even know how that's possible. That's insane. Not last winter, but last spring, I guess. Because they did see some snow in the spring. Remember whenever we had, like, snow in June in Montana this year? Then we had snow in August in Montana. The only month where we haven't seen snow in Montana so far this year has been July, I think. It was only some flakes in August, but still. Remember Nicholas when it canceled school for a few days? Dude, that must be nice. You get school off for so many days whenever you get a hurricane down here. But then again, I guess on the flip side, you guys don't get snow days, that's for sure. And we get those in the Midwest, so there's the trade-off. In my area, it's usually about 3 inches of snow or more that will cancel school or an ice storm. Never had school canceled for the potential of severe weather, even when I've been in moderate and high risks. Never ever. I mean, the last time we had a high risk for me was before I was in school, but yeah, we love seeing new faces here, so again, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Just chilling here at this point. Yeah, that's unfortunate for you. You don't even get days off for severe weather either. I know, like, in Oklahoma, if there's, like, a high risk, they will shut down everything. It's like, what luxury you guys have. I say that even though you lose your entire, everything you've ever lived for. It doesn't snow, though, in Houston. That's the thing. It just doesn't happen. Not anymore, anyway. Even when Cyclone Gita came over to New Zealand, we didn't get a day off of school. Wow. Pray for Kentucky? Why? What happened in Kentucky? Wait, I think I've heard about this. I want to know what it is, though. I heard something bad was happening in Kentucky, but I don't know what it was. It might just be worth it, Jesse. You might be right. I've heard something about it. Hold on. I saw Chris Hall tweeted about something in Kentucky. Oh. Okay, I see that now. Yeah, don't put that in chat, actually. Yeah, that's unfortunate. No, it's fine. Let's just move off the subject. I've definitely seen this town. I don't remember where it's at, though. Okay. That makes sense why Chris Hall tweeted about it then, because he's in eastern Kentucky. Yeah, even Cat 1s are very dangerous with storm surge, tornadoes, flooding rains, and destructive winds. So anyway, I think that's where we're going to end off this stream. I do want to thank you all for tuning in. It has been quite eventful. We're going to have another stream covering this tomorrow and every day, hopefully, during the night, all the way up until landfall. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. I'm doing the most awkward peace symbol of all time. Oh, I got the happy birthday thing. That was cool. Wait, let me try that again. I'm not going to be able to do that again if I try, am I?